Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate everybody rolling in fresh off of the Punchy TV boat. FOP, welcome to the stream. I do appreciate it. A little early here. Labor Day, getting the stream on. Hot dogs in the chat. I do appreciate it. And calls coming in. So you know what that means. We got a show on the roll. And I do have a show for you people. Thank you for those that are calling in. You're probably hearing my voice right now. You're on hold. No call screener. You're on hold. We will get to calls, and that's 888-775-3773 if you want to talk to the Anchor Baby. Welcome. I totally failed that Sprite. I thought I could chug it. I've seen it done before. This guy's like an animal. Some kind of lizard creature. He's taking a Das Boot. You ever see one of these things? Das Boot. It's got a carbonated drink in it. It's not necessarily Sprite. It's 12. It's 3 p.m. Pacific. It's still too early, don't you think? Anyways, look. He takes the whole Das Boot, burps at the end. I don't know. I thought I could do it, but it requires a little bit. You don't just start off fresh, new to the game, and you just go chug Sprite like that all in one go. You don't just start like that. That requires a certain kind of person, a certain kind of beast. But anyways, appreciate everybody. Give us a chance, because bring Jesse back. So whatever, give us a chance. We'll watch. Let us develop. It's gonna be great. But Punchy.tv, I'm streaming on it right now. Where was I? Yeah, you guys, I'm just welcoming you in from the stream, welcoming those who are kicking it back. What are y'all up to on Labor Day? Things are closed, right? So kicking it back, maybe. I got a little bit of a show for you. There was all this talk. Well, first, there was someone who brought up a story that I looked into here, and it's about this Dallas cop. You may have heard it mentioned on the Joel Friday TV podcast, Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. Little story, Dallas cop executed, pretty nasty stuff. And then it's just a whole bunch of let's ignore, blame, obfuscate, and you really realize that that's why things aren't getting better, and they won't. And then you just realize, and it's okay. And the thousands and thousands of pounds of trash and ish around you compresses you into a diamond of love. Because it's like such a mess. You realize it really is biblical. And they're executing cops. And I want to tell you this story real quick. We'll get to calls, 888-775-3773. Dallas Police Department Officer Darren Burks executed in targeted attack. Let me do this real quick. Pull this up here for you. Got Fox here. Bow. And this targeted attack, okay? What's up, y'all? And this guy right here, Darren Burks, is his name. He's a black man. And they're saying he was shot and killed, saying that the former high school teacher was executed while in the line of duty. And the shooting, which happened around 10 p.m. Thursday night near the Oak Cliff Community Center, killed Burks and wounded 2 other officers. Suspected gunman identified as 30-year-old. This is Corey 𝒂𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔. 𝒂𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔? He was killed in a shootout with police after a highway chase, GTA style. We came close to losing other officers who put their lives on the line, Chief of Police said. And our officers were targeted by nothing more than the uniforms that they wear for the brave and honorable jobs. This is what the chief is saying. I want to be clear here. The word ambush has been thrown around. That's not what happened. Officer Burks was executed. Okay. Garcia revealed 𝒂𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔 approached Burks and struck up a conversation while recording the encounter on a cell phone before pulling out a handgun and opening fire. Police said they have no evidence that Burks and 𝒂𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔 knew each other. So he comes up with his phone filming him. Have you seen some of these videos maybe? Where's people just going around filming now? Now you got to be careful if this guy just pulls out a gun. And remember what people said to other executions? There were executions of cops. And they were saying, oh, but have you heard of these police gangs, though? And they were saying that this conspiracy theory that these people had tattoos and they were all part of some gang, which may be a real story, but to point to that and say, but look, these police gangs are executing people, like ridiculous claims to ignore what's happening, okay? It's just a story someone brought up, and then we're going to get to calls here. So someone brought up this story, and this was not even an hour. What? The Hake Report? What? The Hake Report was just a little bit before that. Not even an hour ago, people were just, I guess, offended and didn't want to speak about. They wanted to point to something. That's not every black person doing crimes. They got on Big Bump about it. You guys watched Big Bump right on the Hake Report earlier. 9 a.m. And they were getting on Big Bump about, well, just how many. It's not even every other black. It's not even a third. Of course, the whole spirit of the conversation ignored. To ignore this, why? Why should this crime be ignored? Because it's racist. They can never be deeper than that. With all the facts, some of these callers, they don't even speak like CNN. But then under it all, it's just like CNN basic racism. You're focusing on black crime, and you can't do that. Interesting episode there with Big Bump. They fudged the numbers if you go back and watch it. He had an interesting story about that, how they basically fudged the numbers on reporting this crime. Reporting huge drops of crime up to 50, 60% fraudulently, like lying. You ever heard of the safety gap? Check this. Here's a little intellectualism for you. Let's go to the universities for this one. Let's go to Crime Lab, Chicago. And I see you holding. I appreciate all the calls coming in. 888-775-3773. We'll get to calls here shortly. Chicago. A little bit of the academia. On the academia behind crime trends and all that. A little buzzword for you. You heard this one yet? Safety gap. The safety gap, it's not unlike other gaps you've heard of. The wage gap, the other gaps. And always these gaps are caused by factors that are attributed to basically evil, oppressive people who just want to put themselves ahead of others. And it's racist. Anyways, look. The safety gap, look, they're talking about a safety gap. You got to know these buzzwords a little bit because check it out. People from marginalized racial groups are often more vulnerable to becoming victims of crime due to systemic inequalities. Well, how do you suspect they want to close this gap, these disparities in safety that where minorities, as they put it so plainly, minorities are suffering from these disparities in safety in their areas. Well, how do you think what are their reasons? How do you think they're coming up? What are their ways they're going to close this gap? Police reform, training, implementing bias training for law enforcement, body cameras, community body cameras, which have just shown, it's funny, body cameras have just shown just how the true disparity in crime, what is it? It's reporting. We're like, man, it's all this black crime. No, it's not. Put body cameras on them. Let's see how it's really going on. Let's see how these cops are really treating people. Oh, video after video of out of control people who are given commands that they don't lawful commands they don't follow. Call me the police cuck right now. Call me the statist. Call me uno de statistas like Javier Milei. Que viva la libertad, carajo. Sorry. I think that's a cuss. I think I'm cussing. Why are you cussing in Spanish? Police reform. They're talking about police reform. Body cameras just showing you what a lot of people have been saying. But let's just ignore that one. Community policing, they say, which is what? Buzzwords for what? Replacing cops with women. And not just women cops, not even women cops, but people without guns. Oversight, putting more on the cop, like all this justice reform we talked about, lower bail, fair sentencing, they call it, but letting even more and more violent criminals out. That's your safety gap they're trying to reduce. You just got to know this, okay? You just got to know what they're doing, okay? Your safety gap. They're putting it plainly for you. And why do you want to focus on a demographic? No, I don't want to do that. But can you deny this? Can I play a thought experiment here for all the deflecting and hate, blame, and victimhood that happened today? That I think is also so interesting because it's like what Bond Network is about, putting aside all this hate, blame, and victimhood. And how that sounds evil, racist, and tough, but it's actually showing love to all people, so many different. You go to Bond's church, black, white, Mexican, woman, young, families, single, all crazy. This is the following thought experiment, though. If all blacks crime was stopped tomorrow, cities like Chicago, Los Angeles, New York City would be like in a snap of a finger, almost like, well, for example, New York City, half of violent crime would be totally gone. Half of nonviolent crime would be totally gone. NYC, also interesting, huge Hispanic crime. I mean, so you got to look, violent crime in Los Angeles, 33% of it gone. Hispanic, 50% of you guys, like, man, there's this indigenous malice in some of these people, man. 50%, that's almost half gone. But that we're not even talking about the Hispanics right now. Chicago, violent crime, 76%, nonviolent, 66%. If you just snapped your fingers and it was gone tomorrow. Like, you have no idea just how bad you could get. I don't know if you've ever babied someone, if you've ever been a single mother, a son, especially the son of a single mother. If you've ever been, I don't know, in the ghetto, the black community. Yeah, I don't know if you realize just how bad you could get with coddling, 2 hoops and a holler away from Jeffrey Dahmer. Do you know how deep that goes? That's for all the people, even in Beverly Hills, rich. Do you know how, just like the Joker says, I forget now, I'm paraphrasing, but Heath Ledger's Joker, these people, these civilized people, they're just a step away from Jeffrey Dahmer. Okay. You have no clue how bad it gets. And it's not even proper help. It's kind of like a lie. It's just money. Wouldn't you, if you love someone, teach them how to fish? It's just like simple things I heard growing up. But, this is like a fatherless society. So it's like far away. But it's one of these simple things I heard. If you teach a man how to fish, right? Or else they're always going to be hungry. And maybe that's difficult or something, but anything other than that would be false love. Look, I'm done here. Let me get to calls. They're being used as a perfect voting block. How criminal and corrupt do you want me to express how it is? Like I was just talking to some family the other day too, and they were like, "Oh, I wonder." They were just openly saying this like it was just the most normal thing. Oh, I wonder, Kamala I wonder when they're going to say something about the Hispanics, so they can bring back their vote or something like that. And they're just talking about that like it's the most normal thing. And I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, cool. What are we talking about, y'all? Oh, how morally and how just like totally corrupt the vast majority of Hispanic people are. Oh, that's an interesting topic. They're like, what? Yeah, you're telling me with a smile, with no problem, that you need, that this group of people needs someone to say something about them for them to be, you know what I mean? That they need to be specifically coddled to get the vote, which is a political reality. But the political reality has another side to it, has a reflection to it, and the reflection is, well, they're corrupt people. Like, what are you talking about? We're just saying what the politicians should do for us. I'm like, okay, whatever. Anyways, you guys have your conversation. But anyways, corruption. I want to tell you a little bit about Elon. You're going to maybe like this. This is kind of interesting. Brazil, and the free flow of information. It's a big deal. It's a big deal, but we got someone on the air right now. What's your name and where are you calling from? Testing. We got a caller on the air. Tell me your name. You hear me? Hello. Call me back, maybe. Testing. Caller. You're talking to the anchor, baby. Call me back. 888-775-3773. 2 callers there that were just on hold. Call me right back. I'll get right to you. Appreciate it. Let me check something real quick before I move on. Because Brazil is quite interesting. Oh, you know what? Look at that. We got ourselves the caller back. Caller on the air. Name and where are you calling from?
Hey, Nick, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Appreciate it.
Hey, it's CJ from Texas. What's up, man?
On the air. Hey, how you doing, man? Nice to hear from you.
Yeah, I wanted, I was calling in when you're talking about the police stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know who Orson Scott Card is?
Nope. Orson Scott Card.
Orson Scott Card, he wrote the book Ender's Game.
Oh, I think I was supposed to read that in school.
Maybe. I would doubt it. I mean, he's a Mormon, so.
Oh.
But, I mean, it's a pretty epic book. But he also wrote a book series called Empire. And what Empire was about was the next civil war that was going to happen in America. And I think he laid it out like pretty good. I mean, he's sci-fi and stuff, so he had some stuff in there that doesn't really exist. But he definitely detailed out that it's not going to be state versus state. It's going to be rural areas versus urban areas. And I guess what I'm saying is, like, I'm not anti-cop yet, but I kind of am, because are you kind of aware that in urban areas there's like George Soros DAs and they won't prosecute certain crimes? They almost won't prosecute crimes at all unless it's like politically motivated.
Wow, no, I've heard of about some pretty bad stuff, but I don't know about that specifically.
All right, so like I do hang out with, I do associate with like Alex Rosen, the Predator Posters guy, and like it's very hard to get DAs to even prosecute pedophilia crimes and stuff in like Los Angeles, San Francisco, Seattle, even in Texas, even in Houston. It's very hard to get them to even prosecute crimes because they associate pedophilia with almost being like a sexual choice, like being gay or something.
That's exactly true, and there's a similar. That's the same philosophy behind any of these protected groups, protected classes. You can go with a whole bunch of abused women, blacks. It's crazy how that you could just expand that and just include criminals themselves, just morally corrupt, degenerate people. You could just expand that to them.
But it's always in urban centers that these DAs get elected. It's in the urban centers, and then it's like the sheriff's office and stuff in Texas that are in much more rural communities that are really upholding the good moral virtues of the law.
So in your mind, these are basically the two factions, in a sense, that would war in America. It'd be the working class.
Well, I'm not telling you anything new, right? Urban centers are liberal, and rural communities
are. The Democrats became the party of the companies, the yuppies, the people that kind of look at the workers a certain way, I guess, and that's the Republican Party.
So now that they've done the DA stuff, now what's happening is that you go to an urban center and the good moral police are just quitting in droves. They don't want the liability. They don't want the headache. They're all transferring to rural centers or doing something else. And what they're putting in are police officers that want to enforce the law the same way that the DAs do, which is, so eventually, very soon, I think, your police force inside of any urban city is going to be super corrupt. And I won't be able to shed a tear when one of them gets shot and ambushed, because you had it coming to you. You guys are, they are perpetuating this violence, and liberals are so stupid that they don't even understand, like, well, I'm just going to let criminals go free. Okay, well, then one of them's going to shoot you in your head while you're sitting in your squad car, right?
But let's say,
and it's like, congratulations. Like, I don't even blink an eye when I hear about a cop in a liberal city getting shot. I'm like, why would you even be a cop in a liberal city unless you are down with the corruption?
But yeah, see, you're taking it to another step. Besides, you say that you leave it at nothing. I just don't shed a tear. But you go actually another step. You have contempt. You have contempt for the cops, and it shows in the assumption. Because look, there's a whole bunch of liberals who would be happy, either because they're brainwashed or whatever. They have this contempt for the rural. Let's call it rural. How you're dividing it. They have this.
They're all happy until it happens to one of their loved ones.
But exactly, but they have this contempt for them. It's like, don't be so racist and all that. And they're living in pretty nice areas and all that, and they don't see how bad it gets. And they have total contempt for them. So, but at the same time, look. At the same time, you don't know what this cop you're talking about that will be executed in the future is not even real yet. You've thought about it in your mind, and that's what shows your contempt. So. You're not leaving it as nothing.
I'm saying it's happening right now. I'm not saying I won't shed a tear for a good cop that did something, but what I'm saying is in the future, the police force in the urban areas are going to be working against anything moral, just, or lawful. And what they're eventually going to say is that what's immoral and unlawful now, they're just going to try to make that lawful. And at that point, when somebody says, well, we're going to take every single thing that's immoral and lawful, right? Like, let's just say that, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, all of them ran on, I'm against gay marriage. All of them did, right?
Mm.
Do you agree or not?
Well, no. What
They did. All of them. Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, all of them said, I'm against gay marriage. All of them.
Yeah, totally. But
cool.
But
and now they're for gay marriage, right?
Right, when we got it anyways, they pushed it anyways. They pretty much lied.
Yeah, now the next point is they have Romeo and Juliet laws. The next point is going to be that Gavin Newsom just said, well, sodomizing somebody, sodomizing a minor shouldn't be worse than non-sodomizing a minor, right? So they're like, well, if you, I mean, I can't say it on your show, but if you R-word them and they're A, that's not an extra crime. Great. Is that, dude? Eventually, they're going to start saying that, like
the world kind of they kind of deserve it.
It's okay.
They kind of deserve it.
They're gonna say it's okay to have sex with kids.
What's CJ going to do?
Right? Me?
Yeah. I say let it happen. Great.
What am I going to do?
I say let Kamala be president. If it so happens, I'm going to vote for Trump. I'm going to vote for Trump. But if so happens, I don't even. Is it really even going to be that bad? You're talking about civil war.
Your vote for Trump is meaningless because you live in California.
Right. But you're saying that's good point. But you're saying like civil war and all that. Let Kamala be president. It's not even going to be that bad. A lot of the status quo is going to be the same. Have you noticed that the parties are the same? The people are all the same. There's really no difference.
I'm not talking about the presidency.
Yeah, but I'm saying let that happen. Let Gavin Newsom. Let the California. Yes, we kind of it would kind of be. It would kind of not be hiding what's really there, what people want to make happen. And so you know what they wanted. Let the people have it, and let the Mayans crumble in a sense. I don't know what to say beyond that because. What's CJ going to do?
I don't know. The only state that I've seen actually take real action on this is Florida, where the governor just started firing.
The women can be shown rapes, murders. They can be shown a destroyed border. They can be shown destroyed cities. Hold on. They can be shown. Listen, the women can be shown a people struggle. They can see it on their own money, their own pockets hurt, and they don't care. You tell them abortion is on the ticket, and they're out there screaming. CJ, the people are manja. Let them eat. Let them eat. What do you care?
Take away the right to vote from women.
Yeah, we were far from.
That's number one.
That's nowhere next to. That's nowhere even near in the.
Civil war, baby.
No, see, this is what I'm talking about. He'd rather go to civil war. Let them eat. Let them eat their trash. Let them eat their trash.
How are you going to fix society when you let a bunch of emotional, insane women vote?
Let them.
That's never going to work.
CJ, let them. Tell me what woman you're the head of. No.
I mean, I guess my ex-wife twice.
Right on, man.
I'm just saying it's not going to be anything presidential. If the great Governor Abbott could force Houston to do something, he would. And that's what I'm saying is that in Florida, they actually took the law to where the governor could start firing DAs that refused, their DAs in Florida were like, well, I'm not just going to prosecute this case. And the governor is like, you're fired. You're out of here. You are not allowed to choose what is legal and not legal. You will prosecute crime. And if you're going to say, I'm not going to prosecute these crimes, you're fired and you're out. And Florida's the only state that I know that's done that. But if Florida can do it, other states can do it too.
The people that are running things are sick, man. They're sicker than the people we know the names of. These are the people, just the busy people in the bureaucracy that just who have jobs. They're sick. They'll be happy to allow everything and more of what you're talking about, man. Man, CJ, anything else you want to say on this real quick before we move the wheels?
Yeah, I was just going to say, man, eventually these cops that get shot are going to deserve it because they are replacing good police officers. Good police officers, good moral people are not willing to hold these jobs, and they're going to get replaced with POS, immoral, corrupt. Eventually, these urban centers are going to be filled with absolutely immoral, corrupt, DEI police officers. And at that point, I have to, I can't say, well, I believe in the police officers. They're upholding the law. They're upholding immoral, horrible laws. and that's why they're in there. So no, yeah, that's all I had to say.
Thanks, CJ.
Take care.
Appreciate
Peace.
it. Call me again. 888-775-3773. I was thinking about while he was finishing up there, what can you do? What can you do? How about, I don't know what I was going to ask. I was going to ask him how many push-ups he could do. And I don't know why. I just thought it'd be funny. Just because we got to get ready for boot camp streams. Maybe that's what. And then I had a whole conversation with him in my head while he was finishing up there. I was talking to CJ and I was talking to him in my head. That's crazy that you could do that. But in my mind, he asked me why. And I said, because, I don't know, maybe you could inspire someone else. That's something other than what? Look, anyways, call me, 888-775-3773. Let's not do that. Elon versus Brazil. X.com. This is actually quite interesting. They're trying to silence the governments. They're saying out loud, in your face, point blank, quite clearly, that they get to choose who's allowed to say what, and that no one else should be allowed. They'll say, only we get to choose. Only Americans get to choose what speech gets said, who gets to control speech in whatever way, who has an influence and has that kind of sway. They'll say only us, no foreign or private entity can say what only America gets to say what America gets to say. But America with an asterisk, meaning the government, the U.S. government. It's none of us. No Americans / American anchor babies and beyond. And even brand new citizens coming through the southern border in droves every day. Look, no, none of them. So it's quite significant. There's been some pretty significant escalations. Germany, France, and here real quick with Brazil. I see the calls coming in, by the way, 888-775-3773. If you want to jump on the air and speak to the anchor baby. Brazil started blocking Elon Musk's social media platform X early Saturday, making it largely inaccessible on both the web and through its mobile app after the company refused to comply with a judge's order. And this it has multiple moves here where, according to X, they're saying they tried to defend themselves in court. But Judge de Moraes threatened our Brazilian legal representative with imprisonment. Even after she resigned, he froze all her bank accounts, the company wrote. That's according to X. Those are the allegations from X that the Brazilian legal system tried to imprison and fine this legal representative for X in Brazil. So they're saying they tried to talk it out. Because you read this article and it says that that X failed to comply with the judge's order. And you're like, okay, well, even if let's say Elon Musk, you believe Brazil is trying to stifle speech, that they're not acting in good faith. And so you decide, I'm not going to go through these legal proceedings. Well, no, you still send your representative and hear him out and just try in good faith, show the world what's going on. But, I mean, that's the vibe you'd get if you read the article. But they're saying they tried to defend themselves in court. To block X, Brazil's telecommunications regulator, Anatel, told internet service providers to suspend users' access to the social media platform. That's how these things work in Brazil. Not unlike America. This is Anatel, though, National Telecommunications Agency. That's for over there in Brazil. Which is not unlike the FCC, which is our telecommunications regulator. And they basically behave similarly, where they could, with the powers vested in them, block websites, whole websites, individual people from accessing information on the internet, or blocking whole IPs and all that and more. FCC would be able to do that. Of course, not without, I guess, noise from the people. There are certain systems in place. They say we have an amendment. They say that we have a First Amendment, right, in America. So the FCC would have to contend with that. It gets flimsier as time goes on. But that's who put the stop over there in Brazil, making it largely inaccessible. And they're saying Elon Musk and X, they're alleging that the Brazilian government asked them to censor certain things that was too far for them, political opponents and others, and it turned into a legal matter that they tried to represent themselves in. And now they're just shutting it down. And there's Brazilians who are saying not a good look. They're saying no. Some UFC fighter, they're saying they're mad at Mark Ruffalo here. I'll tell you that in a second. The FCC, real quick, FCC, our telecommunications regulator, check this out. You know who runs that? Jessica, how do you pronounce this? Jessica Rosenworcel? Rosenworcel? This is Jessica Rosenworcel running the FCC, our telecommunications regulator. And she's a lady. And what did she do? What's one of her accolades, as these women and POCs usually do when they're given a chance to run things? They're given the reins, the controls of the big old 747. What does she do as chairwoman? Oh, gosh. I got to do one of these hate reports. Oh, gosh. Chairwoman, Jessica Rosenworcel announced the formation of a cross-agency task force to prevent digital discrimination that focused on creating rules and policies to combat digital discrimination and to promote... Oh, I can't even read this. Let me zoom in. And to promote equal access, the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act required the FCC to create rules and policies to address digital discrimination and redlining. What the heck is digital redlining? Digital redlining? Like, what would that even be? Promote equal access to broadband through the U.S., regardless of zip code, income level, ethnicity, race, religion. Who's stopping black people from where's this income? Where's this internet inequality happening? Digital discrimination happening? Jessica Rosenworcel? Like, for real. Chairwoman. Pantsuit lady. Here to destroy America. They say this is DEI, but it's really more than that. It's the latest symptom in what you can really call a total takeover of what is a Christian kind of based European, Western, European Christian, Anglo kind of a upbringing and roots, a real takeover of that. It's really not love or Christian. Like, really think about it. To force this forced love this, like, forcing people to love and how to think. This very just evil kind of a policing of evil in others. It grows it. It doesn't even do its intended move to police speech and which is what? Trying to police evil in others. It grows it. It doesn't even do its intended description on the box. It doesn't even do what it says on the box. And it is a warped love. It's not God's way. God leaves you in your hell. God leaves you in your hell, lets you, he doesn't get in there and try and fudge the numbers to make it work, to make you work. It's just not very, it doesn't seem, right, you follow me, it's a total takeover of this way of life. And it's, and that's why it's everywhere. And anyways, free flow information, not to be taken lightly, 888-775-3773, not to be taken lightly. I mean, the world governments aren't taking it lightly. They're telling you, only we get to say what you what you get to say. When they say Elon Musk can't have X, they can't be this. When they call him a supranational entity, that is threatening the sovereignty of these nations. That's what they're saying. They're saying that Elon Musk is threatening the sovereignty of Brazil and some of these nations. When they say that, they're telling you that you're not allowed to think for yourself, and because these are what? Free Americans, free Brazilians, so to speak, in these democracies of the world, right? Our government would never support anything other than democracy around the world, right? And these are these free in a democracy. These are Brazilians who choose to go on X and get their news. And they're told, well, no, this is when they call Elon Musk a supranational entity. The sovereignty that he is threatening is these people's democratic world where they're allowed to choose where they get their information and what they're allowed to say. No. And for what? For what? They tell you quite clearly. For these other platforms that do tell you what to say, what's not allowed, and have all these rules, right? And you may not some of you may not like Elon. Okay, he's a liberal. That's true. He's a liberal. Come on, he's a liberal. He's going to be on Trump's administration. And some of you may not like X lately because it's like what? You guys are calling it all sorts of things, but it's nasty. It's full of like pornography. Not mine too much. Like, yeah, there's like I get biddies. I'll get a biddy every now and again, just like doing some biddy stuff. But not like pornography, unless I'm in the comments sometimes. And even then, it has to be some like topic. It's like, maybe you should check your spirit here. I'm not superstitious, but your algorithm's trying to tell you something. So, okay, it's sorted a little bit. People are real hateful on X, like legitimately in a sense. But what are you going to put that on? They're trying to shut it down, man. They're like, you know what I mean? Isn't that a little unfair? Check this out. German court versus podcasters real quick. German court versus podcasters. Podcasters in Germany may face $250,000 fine. Or euro? Euros? German francs? No. Wait, did they have francs? Marks. German marks? No, wait. Hoss and Hoff. Look at these Germans. Look at these Germans. Hoss and Hoff may face big fines for misgendering a trans activist coming hot off the Punchy TV episode. What a mess. They've infected our language. Let me go. Let me speak. And they're saying a German court ordered an episode of the Hoss and Hoff podcast to be deleted after a prominent transgender activist sued the host for calling him a man using the male pronoun when referring to the activist during the show. The gag order is not the end of the saga, though. The podcasters might even face jail time or a fine of up to 250,000 euros, the feminist news site Redux reported. This is in Germany. I'm telling you the escalations that are happening around the world. I mentioned Pavel Durov the other day, Telegram CEO. France. This guy's company is not even in France, and he was arrested in France. And now these German courts with this escalation. This is just the latest. They were threatening Mark Zuckerberg. They were threatening others for the content on those social medias. What these supposedly free users were posting with their freedom. And so in the anyway, where was I? What is he? What? Which one's more German? One looking quite swarthy. What do you think? He's a German anchor baby? Maybe a German anchor baby with the heart of a German. Come on, it's quite possible. What do you think? I see calls 888-775-3773 about to get to you. German courts here are putting these crazy fines on people just saying normal things. Imagine this one day in America where that Punchy TV episode that just happened would result in threats of hundreds of thousands of dollars on the anchor baby. What is he going to do? In the controversial episode, the hosts were discussing the case of Laura, formerly Nicholas Holstein. It's not... What a mess. Nicholas, now Laura. This is what this person looked like, by the way. If you need to see, the person they were saying was a man instead of a woman, and now they're being fined for it. It's not... Look, this is what they were talking about. You're going to fine them for that? Like, can you really get mad? I disavow what I'm saying. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm still working through my bigotry. Look, I'm going through camp. I'm learning every day. But it's like, you're going to fine them for that? Look at him. Look at her. Look at him. No, I'm just joking. I don't have to do the her thing, right? I just have to do the name thing. Laura. Right? Laura, I will not dead name you. You are Laura. I don't have to do anything else, right? What's required by law? Germany is just what's coming here. And don't you forget it. Kamala will be shutting down. She said it, right? She pretty much said it. I thought I had a clip for you here. She pretty much
he has lost his privilege.
Losing his privileges. I think she was talking about.
And it should be taken down.
I think she was talking about. I forget who she was talking about here.
He has lost his privileges, and it should be taken down. And the bottom line is that you can't say that you have one rule for Facebook and you have a different rule for Twitter. The same rule has to apply, which is that there has to be a responsibility that is placed on these social media sites to understand their power. They are directly speaking to millions and millions of people without any level of oversight or regulation. And that
millions and millions of people, they're not speaking to millions and millions of people are speaking as well. That's the thing that you miss. Okay, let me get to calls. 888-775-3773. Appreciate you holding. Gonna get to you right now. But here's a clip I forgot to play in the earlier segment about the blacks and the black crime and everybody obfuscating and ignoring if every black stopped committing crimes in Chicago, New York City, LA, it might be freaking amazing to live in all of a sudden. Really, it's really that bad. And I know not every black is a crime. It's not even one. It's not even 2 in 1. It's not even 30%. It's like 1 in 100. But that's a lot. But enough to what I'm talking about here. Everybody want to obfuscate. Clip that I didn't get to play real quick just because I had it here. Why not play it? This guy got let free. You remember this? A little old. Maybe about a year old. The story is from 4 years ago, but just about less than a year ago, the update was that this guy shot at female deputy, found not guilty despite video of attack, just to illustrate what I'm talking about. How crazy it's gotten. You just don't know.
What the fuck?
Found not guilty. Just wanted to, since I had the clip. What else? Did I miss anything else? Let me get to calls. Oh, and about social media and the internet. How about I save this for right after the call? But yeah, the free flow of information. I'll show you this in a moment. But I have a caller. Your name and where are you calling from? Thank you.
Hey, Nico. This is 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎.
What's up, 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔?
Hola.
Texas in the house. Wait. Right?
I'm sorry?
Where are you calling from again?
Texas,
Oh, yeah. Texas in the house. Oh, go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a very interesting call with CJ.
Oh, yeah. Why do you say?
Because I thought it was really interesting that he was like, this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and then that is going to happen, and all the cops are going to be bad and everything. And then you're like, let them let them.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of a verse in 𒒏💄💂💏, Revelation. In the book of Revelation, I think it's Revelations 22 something, 22:10 or something like that. And it says, he who is ungodly become ungodly even more. And he who is and he who is sanctifying himself, sanctify yourself even more. In other words, el puerco que se meta lodo, y the holy person, you watch yourself even more in the last days specifically. God could Thanos us in a split second and make us all disappear, or make us all be perfect and make all the pain and all the abusers and whatever, all the sin disappear in a split second. But why doesn't he? Like, God could have stopped Eve from reaching for that apple or whatever, but why didn't he? I think, obviously I could be wrong, I don't know anything, right? But I think pain, you have to go through the pain. Like Argentina with Javier Milei, Argentina had to choose wrong, and Argentina chose wrong. And then Argentina, there was like 50% homelessness, and the breadlines, they were looking for rats to eat on the street. They were starving. So they had to suffer to finally come back to their senses and be like, no, we're going to choose a right-wing extremist, blah, 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 Javier Milei, but we're going to choose right. So you have to, in this life, you have to suffer. And you know what? I've been thinking for the past couple of weeks, maybe we're going to have to be the new Argentina. Maybe we're going to have to hit rock bottom. Maybe Kamala is going to have to be the president, and we're going to have to suffer to not collectively, but you know what I mean? The majority of people or whatever, to turn their hearts and their minds. Because right now the United States has been so spoiled. We're like, la, 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 like, no, life is not like that. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Yes, Giselle, that's an interesting verse. I mean, what else can you do? What are you supposed to do? And
right.
You realize that's how God, I like how you put it. I mean, that's how God lets you do it. What can you do? Because it's something that once you have this vantage point where you're seeing all this happen, and they're gonna let him in, and they're gonna lead this, they're gonna DI it, and they're gonna let crime happen. It's like, at that point, what's the point of having all this sight and vantage? It should kind of protect you, and the legions of hell could be released. And I guess now I'm being extra, but you should be. But what are you gonna do? Let the people are going to eat their trash. It's going to be bad. And you know what? It might not get better, how you're saying. And they might not even wait. It might not. None of that may happen.
Exactly. So when you hit rock bottom, right, when you hit rock bottom, you can there's only two options. Either you die or you course correct, just like a drug addict and alcoholic. Either you say, no more, I'm done with this, God help me, I'm going to change my life, or you die. There's no two ways about it. So maybe we have to suffer.
It's what they want. You know what I mean? And here's the thing about that too, to add to it, it's the wrong thinking, I think, is just how consequential maybe this election might be. I think I think there's really two Americas maybe on display more than ever. I don't know if anyone else may feel like that in their lifetimes, but it feels like that's the election. It's like these two, which America will win, but actually it's not. Look, all I'm trying to say is that a Trump loss, is it that bad? Is it gonna be any different than what's kind of going on right now? Which is bad, but the status quo will be kind of kept, really.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So,
right.
It's not like America doesn't really end the next day. It's just the status quo kind of just keeps going.
and the winners are going to win. Like if I have 3 jobs or my husband has 3 jobs and we're making do and we're making smart decisions and we're going to church and we're putting God first, you're going to have heaven on earth. The world can be burning or whatever, but if you are walking right with God, you're going to have a beautiful, happy life.
Nice, Sal. Nice.
Yeah, anyway, thank you for taking my call.
Beef, what do you think about deserving? Do you think a cop would deserve? What do you think about the commentary on, I guess, I don't know, I guess maybe assume this cop voted Democrat and deserving what comes down on him?
I don't know, but just that phrase, it doesn't
go ahead.
well with me. You know what I mean? I don't know, but that phrase just doesn't. I don't know.
Don't worry, it's not that important of a question, actually. C-Sal, thanks for your call.
Thank you.
Call me again.
Thank you, bye.
Beef It to Beef It says the Civil War will happen. We will probably lose. We will hit rock bottom. Elections will not change the zeitgeist. Don't know what will happen. I think that's avoidable. I really do. I don't think it has to happen. And it's a little bit way too much of a jump. What will really change if Kabbalah becomes president? Well, I saw someone write, Nate, what about my capital gains? Okay, so they're trying to do what with capital gains? They're trying to tax. I heard something, maybe tax unrealized gains and stuff. But throughout president after president, the taxes don't change really too much. They'll do a little cut here, but the taxes don't change that much. I don't know if it's just kind of just been more and more over time. Slowly, boil the frog slowly, boil it slowly. Republican or Democrat, it's just been more and more. It doesn't really, like, these tax cuts are, what I'm trying to say with that is that the status quo kind of just continues. They're not really the political parties have shown to me they don't really want to rock the boat either way too far, really. They kind of got a plan kind of going. And it's messy. But what I'm saying is, I heard someone else put it this way too. This part I heard, which is an interesting commentary, political strategy. Like let the Democrats own the border, the open border, this crazy competition which will bring all sorts of problems, the competition in the labor and all that. The inflation, let them own, you know what I mean? Let them own the wars, let them own. It's not really the train is a roll. It's going towards a mountain, I guess, but there's still track. Look, whatever. Now I'm just saying nothing. Let's I'm describing, I'm on the commentary on Civil War and all that. You've seen maybe even a little bit of relaxing on some of the most radical of commentary on race in America, maybe on across the political spectrum. And you know what? Let me actually make a note about what I was about to say, because that'll fit better with this other topic. Apologies. But you know what? Hey, where was I? Let me check Super Chats real quick. buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. I want to tell you about this interesting thing. Chaos Confessional with the early glizzy in the chat. I do appreciate it. You don't want to forget those. A glizzy. And I'm getting Super Chats back to back. I know I read the ones from Beef It to Beef It. Here's another one. The status quo, the zeitgeist, will not change until blood runs in the streets in a revolution. Now you're just LARPing, I think, a little bit. It really doesn't have to happen. And people are mad, and really, it's really the blacks and Hispanics. They're like, and really not all. As you can see, it's not even 1 and 2. It's not even 30%. It's really not all. It's really not all. So don't get butthurt. But really, the only ones that you can really get activated as pretty much white anti-white shock troops, and they'd be happy to do it just as if they had just had some justification as a certain swath of the black population. But really, people are like, I don't know if they're ready to go out in the streets and gun other Americans down. Like just think about it a little bit. That's the type of propaganda that the Obamas tried to put out. Remember, weren't they involved with that Netflix thing, Civil War? What kind of American are you? The Purge style, like that's the kind of propaganda that's coming from the Obama people. Total intelligence psyop, and you want to kind of go along with that. Maybe a part of you should be a little bit more discerning, in my opinion. You know, but yeah, I think there's anger there. Don't get me wrong, big time. Another super chat, Beef It to Beef It. What is happening now is how Hitler gained power. I mean, now it's pretty vague. Come on, now that's pretty vague. Beef It to Beef It. These are just, you could draw all sorts of parallels, but that's just now. That's just like you're just describing what this is. You're just, all you said with that is when people are desperate, things can change quite radically. Yes, it's how many people have come to power. But appreciate the super chat, Beef It to Beef It. It's how the Democrats are in power now. Legitimately. Desperate people and immoral, degenerate people, easily fooled and controlled and made afraid. 888-775-3773. Appreciate the support over there at Rumble. Rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. DLive.TV/Gorgonzola. Back to back. Thank you, Beef It to Beef It. Says, Hitler was elected from in prison. See what happens. What kind of American are you? They're just not there. People kind of want to not fight, I think, more than they want to. But they want to fight. But okay, where was I? I want to tell you about a little something. Look, the people, by the way, people that have contempt. Here's a real quick side note to kind of add to this notion that the status quo is really maintained. And there's a direction. And one man tried to step in front of that direction. And the whole system went against him for it. They are continuing even now to destroy him for it. The Supreme Court gave him immunity, and even then they're changing the language and saying, well, we're gonna still charge him anyways, because and I forget exactly how they did some mental gymnastics, but maybe we'll cover it one day. And still they're trying to go after him and his family. One man tried to stand against this direction. But this direction really is bigger than even just one man. It takes all of us. And there's a lot that people want one man to do, and maybe there's a whole bunch of one man can do. I believe that. A whole bunch. And, holding Trump to it and all that. Look, what I'm saying is I saw this little meme under this story of Kamala threatening to take down X if elected. And this person, Trump supporter, I imagine, posted this meme. And it's Trump, what looks like an AI-generated Trump. And it says, save X, TikTok, and Telegram. Vote all red 2024. But just so you know, Trump was pro-banning TikTok. This whole thing kind of started with Trump. And I'm not saying it's really Trump, but maybe he was the trumpet for this notion that comes down from Washington and the GOP, the establishment. And the establishment and these monopolies that work with the establishment, the big tech guys, who are very, happy, whether it's because of monopoly reasons, money and all that. They're just happy to go be arms of the government. That's what the status quo and the establishment want. They wanted to ban TikTok, and Trump seemingly was happy to go along with it. And maybe they're just forces bigger than Trump. You know what I'm saying? At certain points. The point here is that this is the status quo I'm talking about. And it's like, Kamala, you vote Kamala. It's just banning sense. Yeah, I think the train will roll pretty hard there. I really see nobody stopping it, Republican or Democrat, on controlling the free flow of information. But look, that's why they were trying to shut down TikTok. And there's something to be said about spying and enemies and all that. But remember, it's not like our friends in the government. We're showing we got their back. Like, you know what, guys? It's if they're spying and all that, we got to keep this clean. You can't spy on us. Ban TikTok. But then it's like, who are we giving that power to? People who hate us. People who hate. It's not good for most of my viewers. People who hate us. People who hate Trump supporters. People who have contempt for people who just want to be free. They call them low IQ. They call them stupid. They think they're just dumb for. They're just brainwashed by Elon. It's Russian propaganda. They're just propagandized, and they're just country bumpkins who are just racist. These people have contempt for them, and these are the people who you would be supporting in their TikTok ban, for example. And it came from the I'm trying to explain this kind of status quo to express how it's not the end of the world if Trump loses. Isn't that interesting? So check this out. Mark Ruffalo, speaking of people who have contempt for good old Americans and who I think Trump speaks for in a large part as well as others. Common sense people. Common sense people. This is someone who has contempt for those people. Check it out. Mark Ruffalo, you know this guy? The Hulk. He played the Hulk. Don't make Bruce Banner angry. Check it out, Mark Ruffalo. He's getting some backlash. This is Paulo Costa. Anybody know Paulo Costa? He's like they call him Borrachinha. El Borrachinha. Little eraser. Like the ones in school. Because he's supposedly the younger, maybe family member of another person they call Rubber or Eraser or something like that. Borrachinha Paulo Costa says, you don't live in three world. You don't live. There's some profanity here, and I won't read it, but you might see the text. So, I don't know, avert your little eyes. Borrachinha on X, using his dwindling free speech on X, possibly out of Brazil, I don't know. On X says, you don't live in three world country named Brazil. Period. I do. Period. So you don't have place of speech. I do. I do. And I said, go F yourself, you beep. Paulo Costa responding to Mark Ruffalo, reposting his tweet. Oops. I don't want to do that. Reposting his tweet. What's got Paulo Costa so the Borrachinha all fired up? Mark Ruffalo tagging Elon Musk here on X.com says, Elon Musk showed his total disrespect for Brazilian sovereignty. There's that phrase, Brazilian sovereignty. And in particular for the judiciary, setting himself up as a true supranational entity and immune to the laws of each country, De Moraes wrote. So he's quoting what the judge said about Elon Musk. And what does Mark Ruffalo think about the judge's comments? Because he is weird and entitled billionaire tech bro. Tax him heavily. Mark Ruffalo wants to punish Elon Musk for being a weird, entitled tech bro, agreeing with this Judge De Moraes about this Brazilian sovereignty. He agrees that look at this guy, this freaking guy, De Moraes, put out this line about Brazilian sovereignty, and Mark Ruffalo thinks it's smart. He says, basically agrees with that. And remember, what is that? What are they saying when they say that Elon Musk is infringing Brazilian sovereignty? He's talking about Brazilian citizens' free speech. That's what he's talking about. And Mark Ruffalo, with contempt, doesn't even think about the average person there. Is like, what a weird entitled tech bro thing to do. Tax him heavily. And I'm not against taxing foreign companies. I am not against that at all. Free trade. Get out of here. America first, Brazil first, whatever you got to do. It's about you, whatever you got to do. Call it obtuse. Call it you don't want to work with people or something. There's a deal to be made. Let's talk it out. But don't get mad at free trade, at these, nationalist trade policies. I'm talking a little bit more about Mark Ruffalo. He wouldn't get that. He wouldn't understand that. He's got contempt for the average person here. He doesn't care about free speech. He's living it up. As is, he's got money. He's like an actor. He doesn't say anything that gets people, that ruffles feathers here. Never. Not him. Husband, father, actor, director, climate justice advocate. Literally everything that's okay, you're allowed to say. Building a better, brighter, cleaner, and more hopeful future for all of us. As long as you say what I allowed you to say. Otherwise, tax him heavily. Mark Ruffalo. But guys, honestly, leave Mark alone. Leave Mark Ruffalo alone. Okay? You're not allowed to attack people with special needs. Okay? And I'm not the one saying that. He's the one that said that. Okay? Mark Ruffalo says that himself. He attended a Catholic and progressive school, started his education. And he described himself as having been a happy kid, although he struggled with undiagnosed dyslexia and ADHD. He's got oh my gosh. Wait, hold on. I was just playing around. I was just kind of playing around, but I'm going to need you guys to help me out here. Maybe you guys are going to help me out. I'm just kind of scrolling through these pictures. Do you guys see what I see? There's Mark. Here, let's just go through a few. Oh my God. Can you see? He's got a certain look. I was just kidding, but he says it himself. He's special needs. He's got a special kid look. He's got a special kid look. He says it himself. Look, any grown man ever tells you, yeah, I have undiagnosed dyslexia and ADHD, and they're working and talking to you in full sentences. It's like, yeah, you know what? Unless you could treat him like a special kid. They're telling you I'm special needs. But you know what? In this case, Mark Ruffalo, I might actually be doing a hate crime right now. My bad, Mark Ruffalo. Nobody talk bad about him. He may be a protected class. Nobody. Oh my gosh. Is he looking two places at once? He kind of looks like the Anchor Baby, maybe a little bit. Cute and retardando looking. Kind of like the Anchor Baby, no? Dashing and with a dash of acromegaly face. Okay. Mark Ruffalo, he hates free speech and he hates you talking freely in Brazil. What the? Look at someone else doesn't like it. This is in America. 888-775-3773. Now this one's in America. And we're going to, thank you, Mark Ruffalo. We're going to another man. They call him Robert Reich. Robert Reich. What a powerful name. Robert Reich. A powerful, towering name for this fellow. And he's writing an article. Elon Musk is out of control. Here's how to rein him in. Here's why it's significant, because this guy was a Clinton administration guy. Former Clinton. Now we're talking about American and American companies and American politics and American people's free speech. He says he says that Elon Musk is out of control. He's letting people speak freely on X. They're saying, what? They're being anti-Semitic and hateful. You can't do that. Not in America. If the people are hateful and anti-Semitic, then it's only the only thing you can do is let them be that and then be, I don't know, evil. If they're evil, you got to let them be evil. I don't know what to say. In a sense. If you're a Christian and know about free speech, if that makes sense to you, what does this Robert Reich want to do? And I am being told this is, in fact, him. Man, is this who? I don't know who he's talking to here. Is that Clinton? Look at him. He's tiny. And I believe he's like, anyways, is that Clinton? Why does he have his hands up like that? Like, my little boy, come here. You're my little boy. Why does he? Was that just like automatic? Do you think he just shout out to the short kings? Shout out to the short kings. Robert Reich is a short king, maybe, and he's not happy with X, and he even has a couple of suggestions. What should you do to rein Elon Musk in for his crime of letting these people speak a little bit more freely, as much as he can? What does he suggest? Well, first, he's got this low standard of grievances as to why this has to be done. First of all, he basically says, this is his standard. His standard, he has to really scrounge the bottom of the barrel here. He says, Elon Musk, look, you know why? He says, Musk reposted a faked version of Kamala Harris's first campaign video with altered voice tracks sounding like Harris and saying she doesn't know the first thing about running the country and is the ultimate diversity hire. Not only that, Musk tagged the video amazing and it got hundreds of millions of views. You can't do that. He said, this guy, Robert Reich, says. He even liked this fake video. And it was a fake video. It was like misinformation. You can't do that. That's against the rules. Scrounging the bottom of the barrel of the crimes that Elon Musk did when the United States government is doing all that and more. And it proposes, what are his propositions? Things that are already happening. He says, boycott Tesla. Advertisers should boycott X. You know these things happened, Robert Reich? Do you know that already happened? And you have nothing to say that there is a whole system, a whole network that's connected with the government, ready to flex their power, and advertisers, should you go, remember the ADL, they're like, ban the ADL, and they're like, time to flex our power. Boycott, boom, advertiser after advertiser, and it was looking pretty dicey for X. It was looking pretty dicey. They had to like acquiesce to certain demands, last I remember. And so you don't have nothing to say about this government private sector Frankenstein already oppressing the people? Okay. Makes it sound like a grassroots thing that the taxpayers would do themselves. Look at this language. Regulators around the world should threaten Musk with arrest if he doesn't stop disseminating lies. And in the United States, the FCC should demand that Musk take down lies. And the U.S. government and we taxpayers. Oh, thanks, Robert Reich, for adding us in. He reminds us we have additional power over Musk if we're willing to use it. The taxpayers are on X. Robert Reich. Anyways, that's enough of that, honestly. I'm done with all that. Oops. I'm done with all that, honestly. You can call me 888-775-3773. I wanted to show you this, speaking about free flow of information, something I've mentioned before briefly. Carver with the super chat, though, he says, we know, Nit, he looks just like you. Shout out to our special kids looking fellas out there. Right on, Mark Ruffalo. You're a heartbreaker. There's something Sean Penn in I Am Sean, I Am Sam that just gets the ladies. There's something I Am Sam about you, Mark Ruffalo. It melts hearts. I know I too have that effect on people. Where was I though? Check this out. You might find this interesting. A little bit about the world. let's go. If we went to Cuba for a second, and they say some theories suggest that these might be my people. Cuba, I might have a little bit of Cuban revolutionary in me. And check this out. Where was I? El Paquete. You ever heard of this? El Paquete. They call it El Paquete Semanal, the weekly package. And it's how you get information in Cuba, basically. Because the free flow of information is so restricted, in Cuba, there's a network of information that gets distributed in an analog sort of way through USB. And large swaths of the internet, if not really pretty good images of it, of the entire internet in an updating fashion, web pages, pictures, Netflix movies, shows, new episodes, and beyond, are cached into an image of the internet that's can be sometimes a couple terabytes, and it's smuggled in to Cuba physically through freighter and other physical forms, smuggled in by hard drive and USB, and then distributed amongst the people. This cached internet gets distributed, and that's what people in Cuba use, in large parts of Cuba use. They use El Paquete Semanal, and they get a sort of basically slow updating internet that they get to use. They get their news a week in a weekly kind of downloadable basis, and they get smuggled around. This is kind of the world that people live in, and the incoming world that people want here. You don't just have a utopia where you just stifle free speech. It just becomes like this. It becomes like Cuba. You may not know some of these things, but it's kind of interesting. That's how people get their information in Cuba, and even that is a constant arms race with the state.
Acá no tenemos televisión extranjera. Acá es televisión nacional.
Officially, there's one source of permitted media in Cuba, and it's the state.
¿Por qué? No sé, no está en mis manos. Solo sé que así funciona.
But Cubans found a way to work around this media blockade to distribute the latest in global entertainment to the entire country, coordinated entirely by an informal market of underground data traffickers, based both in Havana and the United States. It's the fruits of the internet without any of the guts.
Un señor se dedica a bajar las series. Otra gente se especializa en bajar películas y otras personas en videos, otras la música, y así van recopilando hasta que van armando un terabyte.
Un terabyte?
Once all the latest media from around the world is gathered onto one hard drive, the top dealers in Havana will prepare it for distribution. This extensive collection of digital media is affectionately called El Paquete Semanal, the weekly package.
Bueno, eso me lo dan a mí. O una persona que lo coge de otra persona que se lo coge a esa persona. Y así es, al final es una cadena. Vale dos cubos.
It's a chain. I don't know where I get it from. He says, I get it from one guy. He gets it from another. He gets it from another. It's a chain. Who's running the Paquete Semanal game?
Uno lo que hace es llenar un USB. ¿Hay mucho dinero en todo esto? Pienso que sí. Para los que están arriba, pienso que sí. Es un negocio.
A quick look into the paquete, and you start to realize how massive this system must be to gather so much content in such a short amount of time, especially in a country that has a 5% internet penetration and an agonizingly slow connection speed. So who's behind all this? It's definitely not one person, but somewhere down the chain there has to be a source of all this information, someone coordinating the distribution. I found a couple of 20-year-olds who make their living hustling Havana's streets, participating in the thriving industry of shadowy odd jobs. Between driving taxi bikes without a license and giving unofficial city tours to European visitors, these guys move El Paquete between distributors from time to time. They led me behind the scenes in Havana, where I saw how the Paquete makes its rounds every week. The distribution centers are usually in the back of cell phone repair shops or DVD stores. Hardware flowing in and out of these places doesn't attract unwanted attention. Distributors were understandably not keen about appearing on camera, but they showed me their operation and explained how clients come to their shop with a weekly order of digital content. They told me that American TV shows are in some of the highest demand, but some people show up with an empty hard drive every week and transfer the whole entire paquete. Everything from iPhone apps to indie documentaries.
A little bit of the world. Paquete semanal. That's not the world you want to live in. Thanks, little Nick. And that is what could be incoming in the world. And that's what happens, too. That's the thing that you got to understand. And in some ways, the governments of the world sort of know this. That you don't really stifle speech. You just... And it has some of its intended purposes, especially early on in the cycle of stifling speech. It has its intended effect of directing public opinion and all that, insofar that the people still trust the state and its information. But eventually, you don't even really stifle speech; you just make it go underground, and you have you start basically an arms race that's ongoing. So it's just what always happens. Anyways, let me get to calls here. Appreciate it. 888-775-3773. What else about this real quick? I think that's everything here. Everything I wanted to say about that. Wanted to show you that. Got more interesting. Got something else interesting for you. But first, I want to get to a caller, your name and where you calling from. Thank you.
Am I on?
You're on.
Hey, my name's Jackson, and this thing you're showing about Cuba is actually, like, I'm kind of knowledgeable on that subject.
Oh, cool.
I'm actually I'm a radio operator, right? And so with
Jackson,
my job,
where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Jacksonville.
And first-time caller?
First-time caller.
Thank you for your call, man. So you're a radio operator? What are you saying?
Yeah, and I actually know that, you can't really block radio communications nowadays because you can send a radio signal across, the entire Earth if the conditions are good for it. You can speak to somebody in, like, North Korea from, like, the United States by sending that signal through the atmosphere. And I think that just like your show is fucking gay and you're a faggot.
All right, well, thanks. Peace. 888-775-3773. Got another caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello?
Hey, thanks for calling. You're on the air.
Do you lube it before you stick it?
We got some trolls. Appreciate it. 888-775-3773. Troll City. This is what happens when you don't have a call screener. You need a call screener. We're flying blind. That's what happens, Doom Jesus, no grace. How am I supposed to? That's like walking around a corner and getting like surprised and going like, you fell for that. Like, I walked around the corner. You wouldn't say that if you walked around the corner. You walk around the corner, Doom Jesus. Appreciate it. 888-775-3773. Look, I got last thing here for you. You always check corners, huh? You always ready? Always check. Always do peeks. You always peek your corners. I disavow that for the sake of the channel. What is it? What did I even talk about today? So this person must love black crime. This person must love women heads of the family unit and the women heads of the world. That's probably what those callers love. What else can we assume? What did I even say that they could dislike? What was I even wrong about? I'm literally wrong about nothing. Is this a troll? You're on the air.
Oh, it's Jaime.
Jaime. What's up, sir?
Hey, I'm not going to.
That's not a troll, I don't think.
No.
Welcome, man. Go ahead.
I don't think that Brazilian guy can do anything to Musk. Can't touch him, man.
Oh, you think so?
No, I don't think you can.
Oh, like do something legally to Musk.
Yeah, I think you picked a fight with the wrong person.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, this guy's a $200 billion guy. He's got all kinds of rockets and like spaceships and all that kind of stuff. What all he can do is maybe like, and this is a judge, the judge, not the president of Brazil. Is he going to make it illegal to use X?
Well, he's...
And even if he did, so what?
Fair enough in a sense. May I, if I just may, like, you do, however, know about some of the latest escalations, right? Despite them not having any right, let's say Elon Musk were to set foot in Brazil. What's stopping them from doing like a France? And they arrested 𝒏𝒊𝒂𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔 for things that happen on a platform in business that it's not even in France, and they arrested him. Should Elon Musk set foot in another country where they're saying that he's infringing on their sovereignty, you know what I mean? Elon Musk basically runs the risk for that in a sense. Or what do you think about that?
Like the Friends of Brazil, like if you went to Portugal or something.
Something like that. I mean, that's what these world governments are doing. They're now jailing these people, or arresting them.
Did you hear that his Starlink, he's offering for free to the people of Brazil?
Oh, that's magnanimous.
Like what I read was that Brazil froze all the accounts, so they can't pay him, even if it's not for his X stuff. That his Starlink is a total different thing, different business, and they froze the accounts going out. Kind of like what the U.S. did to Russia.
Oh.
Have you heard that?
I've heard not much about that, no.
Okay. Yeah.
War,
I think it'll blow over.
But they want war. Even if it's legal. No, just like fighting over business and all this that you're talking about.
Yeah. Cool.
No, we get to tell you what to say. Man, hi, man. I forgot what I was going to ask you. Shout out to the baby. Call me again. Yep. Anything else you want to say?
No. Have a good one.
Take care, sir.
Bye.
Caller. Okay. Call screener. We're flying blind. Appreciate it, Jaime. 888-775-3773. Let's see here in the last bit of the show. I wanted to show you just how the flip, and maybe it's been slow, but it seems like Democrats now at this point, really the government as a whole, this status quo I'm going to talk about, immigration, really wants to be kept by Republicans as well. They're fine with a whole bunch of immigration as long as it's legal. They're really fine with it. They're completely fine with it. And now, not only that, it seems like the language has gone to a whole new level where you can show them, look at how blatantly you are selling out American people and putting illegals first. And you can show it to their face and they'll be like, yeah, we're doing that. And it's a good thing. That's where these people are, which indicates to me that they believe they've already won, in a sense. They already got what they wanted, in a sense. You know how they're importing voters, right? They openly talk about how these states they turn blue, and reliably blue, due to immigration. The Democrats in Georgia and California, they talk about it openly. They laud this achievement. And so not only are they importing the voters, now when you show them, hey, you guys are putting these people ahead of Americans, they say, yes, that's what we're doing, and it's a good thing. Let me show you this quick video. We'll get to calls, 888-775-3773. They're saying it's a good thing and they don't care. They already feel like they won.
The California lawmakers just passed a law. It hasn't been signed by Governor Newsom, but giving government assistance to undocumented immigrants to buy houses. That's kind of a different place than the Democratic Party used to be on immigration, is it not? I'm not going to say that's what the country's going to do, but that's certainly where California is.
Well, let me just say, immigration had always been a bipartisan issue. I refer you to
But not free houses.
Well, that's not free housing. It's the American dream being available to more people. But understand this about immigration. The best speech on immigration was by President Ronald Reagan. This is the last speech I will make as President of the United States. I want to communicate a message to the country I love. And he talked about the Statue of Liberty and the beacon of hope it is to the world, and what America was preeminent in the world because our door was always open, and we will cease to be preeminent when we shut the door. Now, I don't do justice to the great communicator. Google it. It's a fabulous speech. And George Herbert Walker Bush continued in that respect for the diversity of America and the rest. California's always in the lead. Maybe others will follow that lead, but that's up to those states. But we're very blessed here with beautiful diversity.
You'd vote for this law?
Excuse me?
So you'd vote for this law?
Well, I'm not familiar with exactly what it is, but making the American dream of home ownership available to all people is something we have to do for people who are here now.
This is before you're a citizen. This is undocumented. This is for the undocumented.
Well, what I would like to do is move them to documented. The fact that we move them to documented.
And that's pretty much the crux right there. Complete contempt for anyone American. These are all Americans, the whole world. And despite just being a couple % of the world, America, the rest, 90+%, they are American too. How can you say Nancy Pelosi saying anything but that to that level? Truly. And they don't care. They'll say they finally, you saw how Bill Maher finally pinned her down, stretching language first, couldn't really pin her down. It's not free housing. She finally plays her first trick of language, showing that her first laugh at reality itself. So but Nancy, they're giving them free housing. These are illegals. It's not free. It's the American dream. Stretch reality, stretch it all. And then goes to Reagan, which is an interesting quote here. I mean, I guess, what are we supposed to say? Well, well, she got us there. Nancy got us there. Reagan was, I don't know, Reagan was keeping the status quo going too. And he could be totally wrong about that. And yes, it's true. He talked about the preeminence of the United States and stressed its diversity, but that is just a low truth, low IQ take, low reality take. Yeah. All these immigrants that made America, that built America. It's just not true. And so she stresses what part of the Reagan speech, the one where the part where it was Reagan, and what was the best part, where he said we all got to just let people in. When he didn't say that, but he did stress the strength of diversity and the strength of all these people coming in, and our preeminence. I mean, it's only as long as we keep letting people in. Is the insanity, is the level of thought, is the level of depth that Nancy Pelosi is willing to go on, and you got to understand. They're on some level, she believes on some level she doesn't believe she has to respond to Bill Maher, and then when she finally does, because he kind of pins her down. Well, Nancy, would you vote for it though? Yeah, whatever. I'd vote for what I'm talking about. Whatever it is you're talking about, I don't even know the details. Yeah, okay. Well, Nancy, I'm telling you, it's illegals. Sure, whatever. No, but it's illegals. Will you vote for it? Well, I don't even care what it is. And you know what? When they finally pin her down, she says, "Well, then it's just time to make them documented." So she's talking about all of you. She's talking about all the citizens. Well, F them. make these people documented and give them the American dream, their houses that they deserve. You just got to understand. You just got to understand the people in power hate you. They really do. They're really quite hateful. They're really quite hateful. Happy to enrich themselves. And that's so messed up, the shock troops that they use. You know, let me take it back to the blacks here real quick. The shock troops they're using, because it's not even fair, because blacks aren't even that, they're not even mad. They've just been kind of like goaded into this anti-white thing, and they're evil for it. Check it out. I'm trying to describe something here while I show you this quick clip. Caitlin Clark, you've seen her before. Come on. WNBA. We're going to the WNBA for this. They're still pushing her down. They're still I don't even watch WNBA, I swear. But I came across this on the internet.
The Fever really stretched out this one.
They're still pushing her down, you know?
As we look at Diamond DeShields and Caitlin Clark.
There's something poetic about this. Like, it doesn't even help you, right? You just get fouls. You just get all this backlash. Caitlin continues to get more popular. This doesn't even help you. Who told you to crash into Caitlin like this? Who told you to do this, black girls? Who told you that this was positive to you and this would help you? This is only destroy you and yourself and your own team. Who told you to, who convinced you to do this? Because this doesn't even make sense, you know what I mean? They got you directed as a perfect voting block, okay? They got you directing your anger and hate, man. And it doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even help you. It doesn't even help you. It only enriches a very, very few of you. And I don't know who convinced you to do this, but blacks, wake up. Okay? We need more bridges. That's what we need. We need more bridges in this world. Do you know what a bridge is? Some of you out there know. Some of you out there are a bridge. Some of you out there know a bridge in your life. You're just this bridge. You're just like, you're this bridge between two worlds. Let me show you. This is a bridge. Be a bridge in your world, in your life. And in this case, a bridge between black and white.
When you send your white son to an HBCU because he likes the band.
Oh! He's kind of hitting it, though. Oh, damn! Okay. He's definitely hitting it extra, don't you think? Okay. Oh! Is this a solo? Is he doing this solo? Wait. Is this coming out of him naturally? Like, is he just allowed to improvise here? I really hope this is an improvisation. This is what came out of him. Oh, damn! Okay. Oh! Splits! Get it! HBCU. Can we get some trumpet work? Okay, nice. Okay, see? You see? We don't have to have a civil war after all. See? What are you talking about? See, we don't even have to have a civil war. Come on. Bit overkill for a school game. Geez. Beta split. Come on. I don't believe it. Civil war? Come on. Not when we have bridges around. Hey, caller, your name and where are you calling from? Caller. We got somebody on the air. Your name. Going once. Hello, hello. I'm talking to you. You're unmuted. Give it. Oh, oops. Maybe not.
Yeah, you what?
Oh, no. Call me back, Frederick. Hey, who's this? Caller, you're on the air. Who's this caller? You're on the air. Oh, no. Test. Hey, yo. Frederick, I think I hung up on you, man. My bad. When Nick figures out how to take calls, the show gonna get a lot better. I think you're right. Caller, call me again. You're on the air right now. If you're hearing me, test. Okay, bye-bye. Call me again. Callers who I hung up on, who were talking to me, call me back in the last few minutes of the show. We can get her done in the last few minutes because I'm out of here in a few. Hope you're enjoying your Labor Day, kicking it back a little bit on this communist day. Kick it back a little bit. What are y'all up to? How's your Labor Monday going? What are y'all up to? What are you going to do after Anchor Baby? What do you eat on Labor Day? Is it like, do you do like American stuff? Like you grill up stuff or what? Do you grill stuff up on Labor Day? Or do you just have like rations? Or do you get into a food line to practice? Ribs? True. Ribs? Some ribs? Chick? Ribs? Anyways, folks. Oh, look at that. We might be able to get to a call after all. You're on the air.
What's going on, Nick?
Frederick, sir. Appreciate your call. You're on the air.
All right. You was talking about you got to say what they want you to say, right?
Can you be more specific?
They got y'all.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about censorship.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that's right or wrong?
No, it's wrong. You know, it's wrong on a we have the right that protects that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I don't know. I think it's the same thing Brazil's scared of. They see how y'all run stuff with a lot of fake news and misinformation. They like, we don't want that down here. And who's to say he's not putting their internet businesses out of work, giving it away free? How y'all feel about giving away free stuff?
Wait, what are you talking about? What misinformation? And who's giving out free stuff?
Yeah, Elon Musk giving out that free internet.
With the Starlink?
Yeah, he's putting out Brazilian internet companies because he's giving out, what's that? Y'all call it socialism.
Starlink. No, that's more like forced free trade. That might be a little bit like forced free trade with Elon Musk there, because he's got a product that lives in in space, that it's not a country, and then if you're able to purchase this Starlink thing, you'll then get a service that would, in a sense, undercut what you're talking about. It's definitely. I don't know if I'd necessarily call it a nationalist strategy.
Come on now, think about that.
I don't know if I'd call it a nationalist strategy. But we don't like those dirty communists in Brazil anyways, right, Frederick? They're trying to stifle their speech, mate. And they're calling it Brazilian sovereignty. No, they just don't like them speaking freely. You know about that mess with these communists who took out, and I don't know anything about this, right? It was fair and square. That Brazilian president, Bolsonaro, right? You love Bolsonaro.
Man, I don't want to get involved in it.
Okay.
They like their politicians. They got their own government down there. I don't think wealthy Americans.
Yeah. Wealthy Americans.
You say what?
No, you don't think wealthy Americans
need to be doing anything for free for other countries when we got poor people here, stuff like that.
You know, Frederick, if I may put in like a theory, posit a not a theory, but just posit a suspicion here. How do I put it? On this national sovereignty thing, how do I put it? There's something going on in the social media world. There are these big factions and players, and I'm not even sure who it is, but you kind of see the waves in the water. And here's what I'm getting at. This whole, when these big social media companies like X and all that, I'm just leaving the room. Here's what I'm trying to say. I'm just leaving room for that it's not just free speech fights, that it's like faction fights. And when Elon, let's say Elon Musk, I guess now I'm losing it a bit. I may be rambling, but the point is that it's not all just grassroots movements. It could be it could be, let's say it's not even, let's say if it wasn't X.com or another company, these companies saying, hey, look at bringing world attention to a stifling of free speech. It could be another political thing. You understanding me? Where it's just two factions of power fighting over power, and one. Look, I'm trying to describe a textbook play of what the church committee, for example, uncovered with the American intelligence. You know, this is a textbook play. They go into these countries and they say, well, look, this or that nationalist candidate is trying to stifle free speech and go against civil rights. And what it is a color revolution. And I'm saying that can happen through X. That can happen through these things. Are you following me now?
I'm following you.
Yeah. It can't. It's not always just what it seems.
I'm following you, but this is what they're concerned about. They're concerned about disinformation getting into people's mind, starting a coup, overthrowing governments, and putting him in charge of their government. If he wants to go over in Africa and give him Starlink and then start pushing like y'all getting cheap by so many billions and let me run your country from this free Starlink and start investing computers, and now he gets all their resources and minerals because he done got some Starlink and navigated the information to make him look like God or whatever. It's wrong. You don't. They call that fraternization when you got so much power and you playing with the poor. You know what I'm saying? They're
you're lying.
Easily manipulated.
You're lying, Frederick. You don't care about that.
I'm not lying.
Yeah, you are. You're saying it's so wrong. It's so wrong, and you got this like moral standpoint where you can't do that. The company can't do that. That's just plain wrong. But you don't care about that. You're totally fine with that. Hold on, Frederick. You actually okay with that? No, it's my turn now. You said you're trying to point out this evil, but you're trying to have this moral high ground over what Elon Musk shouldn't do in a democracy like Brazil. Hold on, you got to hear me out. Maybe I'm wrong. Hear me out. You're saying you're having this moral high ground over what Elon Musk is doing over there when you're totally fine with it. And the only reason you don't like Elon Musk and what I'm saying is because it actually threatens the power structure that you seem to think that you benefit from. You're totally happy with the stifling of speech and censorship over here because you think racists and you think evil people are getting and their time is over and all that. You're totally happy with that. And this Elon and free speech itself, the very notion of free speech itself actually threatens that. It actually threatens this because you're not. You don't care that. You don't care that. You don't care that X gives a voice to a bunch of. You're okay with the people on X who feel like they're getting a voice. You're totally happy with them getting censored and all that.
No. He's going to replace the human worker with these robots, and he's going to replace the police with more robots.
Well, you're talking about a different thing now.
Police state.
Maybe that's wrong, but we don't change the subject. Hey, maybe you're talking about something else Elon Musk thinks about, and maybe that's wrong. No, you're saying he's going to replace people with robots. We could talk about that after. But what about this?
We're talking about even in their country. First, you lure them with bait, and then you take
which
over
you're fine with. Which you're fine with. You're lying. You think that's you're just having a moral high. You're just taking a false moral high ground right now with something you're totally okay with here in America.
This is lure and bait system. This is how it starts with free internet, degenerating the people, giving them MTV. Go ahead.
And you like that. You're okay with that. As long as it gets the racists.
You're just trying to stop capitalism from growing, Frederick. You just don't. I want my chance to make 10% off my money and just let it grow forever and let it make money where I don't have to work no more. My grandkids don't. No, we coming.
Do you believe in racism? Yes or no?
We coming for that money.
You believe Elon Musk? You believe Elon Musk has allowed more racism online or something? Hate speech?
Oh my God, racism. I think he's scared to say anything racist.
Do you believe Elon Musk has allowed more hate speech on X?
You say what?
Do you believe Elon Musk has allowed more hate speech on X?
He's allowing more hate speech. Yeah.
Yeah.
You say the N-word.
See, there you go, folks. He believes in not only does he believe that hate speech is not free speech. He goes along with liberal media saying that he's allowing more hate speech. This is who, and he said you were denying this.
But what is
just
Elon
a moment
going
ago
through right now? What is Elon Musk going through right now?
And what?
Elon Musk. What's he going through right now?
What's he going through right now? What are you getting at? Real quick, so I can get to another call.
his stocks ain't going too good right now. His stocks are going to fall even $1 short. BRICS about to take over, and that's why he's meeting police force and going to other countries trying to get money because they broke. All right, have a good one.
Call me again, man.
That's the real deal right there.
Call me again, man.
All right, yep.
All right. That's the show, folks. Call me again tomorrow. Look, it's Labor Day. I got one more call. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Ma. Can you hear me?
Who am I speaking with?
My name is Jeremiah.
Hey, Jeremiah. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Baltimore.
And what's your question or comment?
Hey, you were talking about Caitlin Clark earlier. Can I talk a little bit about that?
Sure.
I had some thinking about that whole situation with her being pushed around and stuff that I thought was pertinent to maybe what that previous caller was saying too. I was having trouble calling in earlier when you were talking about that.
Okay. No problem. Go ahead.
Getting treated out there. I think there might be some component of what I would call reverse racism about her. I think. Because I think what it's about is like, I'm thinking, basketball, as you know, is a traditionally, like a black dominated kind of game, right? And she's a white girl out there, and she's really good at that game, right?
I did not hang up on this person. This person just hung up. He kind of sounded like, hey, chat, was that the troll from earlier? I did not hang up on this person. But you know what? Because of time, we'll answer this real quick. It's not reverse racism, man. It's not even reverse racism. It's it's hate. It's hate. These black people are angry. They've directed this anger that started in the home, that came down from their mothers, and they're directing it to white people. And what anger does to you is it makes you crazy, and it opens you up to murder. You are murdering people inside your mind when you're angry at them. When they're on the field, when they're on the court, and she's like, that, look at that, there's that Caitlin Clark, that ish. Man, she thinks she's so great. And then it all culminates to this moment where you're like, oops, wow, I actually did it. I actually pushed them. That's the same as when someone kills someone. And it's like, look at that person thinks I actually pulled the trigger. Or you think about it, it's anger, it's hate, and really only black hatred is like justified. You have like corporate America, the government, TV, Netflix, literally everything, pretty much just the world telling them that they're justified in their anger. What do you get with that concoction? What do you get with that combination? You get hell. And hell has no bottom. It just keeps going. Oh, they're just mad because this white girl is coming into... No, they would be mad if it was... There's much less logic behind it. They hate, they have directed their anger towards white people in a very real and deliberate way. They hate white people. But they're really even wrong about that. They have anger. That's the show, folks, though. 888 call me tomorrow. Appreciate all the calls. American Anchor Baby. We'll be back tomorrow. And the Bond Network back with the office open. And all that. Enjoy the rest of your Labor Day. And as always, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much. All right, y'all. Take care. See you tomorrow. Peace.